So I was diagnosed with breast cancer just last week. And I actually took the news really, really well. And I stayed really calm in the doctor's appointment until I thought about telling my kids. And that's when I broke down and lost control of my emotions because I didn't want to cause them to panic or worry. But a simple conversation I had with my husband on the way home helped me realize how we can make this a much easier experience. Stay tuned because I'm going to share what my husband said in that conversation. And I'll also share how our children responded to the diagnosis. Hi, my name is Krista, and welcome to Thrive Daily, a channel focused on helping busy moms reduce their stress and solve their biggest challenges with some simple mindset changes. In today's video, I'll be sharing what the most difficult part about being diagnosed with cancer was for me, and I'll share what made it that much easier. But before I get into my story, I'd love to hear from you. What is the most difficult news you've ever had to share with your children? Maybe it was a difficult surprise move, or a canceled vacation, or even the death of a loved one. No matter what it was, today I'll share with you some tips that can make sharing any difficult kind of news that much easier as a parent and easier for your children to take as well. So, like I mentioned, I recently got diagnosed with breast cancer, and I honestly knew this was coming. So I felt really prepared when the doctor said to me, "Yep, you have cancer." And I simply nodded and said, "Okay." And he looked at me and he said, "You knew?" And I said, "Yeah, I kind of did." And he said, "How did you know?" And I just said, "Well, I've had a lot of thoughts and impressions, and I feel really prepared for this news." And he was just really surprised. And I explained to him that I had done a lot of processing already and I had prepared for this news because I thought that it was coming. But then when I mentioned to my children, I became very, very emotional because I feel like I can be strong, but I was really worried about this news affecting my children and making them worry and causing them pain and giving them so much anxiety about that cancer word, right? I mean, cancer is one of those buzzwords that you hear it and immediately think, oh, she's going to die. And I just didn't want my little kids to have to worry with that fear. But on the way home, my husband reminded me of two really important things that gave me strength and calm in that moment. So these are the two things that he said. Number one, he said, it makes such a big difference how you speak about it when you tell them. The energy that you bring to the conversation, they are going to pick up on that same energy. And so if you want them to feel peace about it, then just feel peace about it as you're telling them. And they're going to pick up on that. And that was a huge comfort to me because I was like, you're right. Yeah. If they can see that I'm not worried about it, that will go a long way in helping them to not be worried about it either. So that gave me great strength and conviction that I could do this. The second thing that he said to me was because we had talked about how I felt that this was going to be a big blessing for me in my life, that this cancer diagnosis was going to help me grow and become stronger. And so he said, okay, Krista, if you think this is going to be a blessing for you in your life, it's going to be just as much a blessing for them in their life. And that was a huge aha for me. Like this light bulb went off in my head because I knew it would be a blessing for them just as much as I know it's going to be a blessing for me. So I took those two pieces of advice, and my husband and I were able to sit down with them later and explain to them what was happening. And we stayed calm and we were really positive and optimistic. And I expressed everything that I was feeling and everything that my husband was feeling. And that helped them to stay calm. Were they shocked? Absolutely, 100%. They were completely stunned and silent for a minute. But later, as I spoke with each of them individually, we were able to freely talk about things and they were able to ask their questions and I was able to answer them. And they seemed really at peace with the whole thing and not worried at all. And that made me so happy. It gave me such comfort to know that they were able to manage this news on their own. It was definitely heavy news to take. But now that we're more adjusted to the idea, it's very comfortable and we can talk about it openly. So I hope you can use this anytime you need to share difficult news with your children. So to recap, number one, remember that the energy you bring to the conversation is the energy they're going to pick up on. And then number two, don't underestimate your kids. Don't be afraid to share the same lessons that you are learning yourself with them and allow them to learn those same lessons with you. So I hope this little message has empowered you to be able to talk to your kids with greater ease and less anxiety about anything that's difficult. It's all about the approach. And remember, if you know someone who could use this message, go ahead and share it with them. And if you'd like to subscribe for more weekly content like this, click right up here. And I hope you all have an amazing, wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.